Hey guys, in this video the lovely team is going to be taking you through crime rates and preventing crime which you need for your GCSE citizenship. Now over on my website to support you in revising this there are loads of multiple choice questions just waiting for you.
Crime rate is the average number of crimes per head of population. They're counted for individual types of crime, burglary, murder, assault for example. They're also counted in each geographical area for all crime and types of crime. So they will, for example, be counted in North Yorkshire, both for all crime and for specific crimes. We've got 3 examples here. The first is that the overall crime rate in London is 111 crimes per 1,000 people. The second example is that there have been 463,287 total vehicle thefts in the UK. The third example is that overall crime in Northern Ireland is 0.055 crimes per head of population. Each of these figures is taken over a year. There are issues with the recording of crime rates. Unreported crimes go unrecorded. If a crime happens but that crime is never reported to the police and no action is taken, then that crime will never be recorded and will never be entered into crime statistics. The recording of crime rates is an extra bureaucratic task for a stretched police force. Just because a crime is recorded does not mean that a conviction occurs and that an individual is punished. Of all the crimes that happen, a very small percentage actually reach the stage of going for trial and conviction. The list of what constitutes a crime changes over the years. To take an example, until 1967, homosexuality was a crime and was included in crime statistics. So crime statistics are not always comparable from one year to the next. There are several national influences on crime rates. Generally, these influences are within the power of Westminster government, of central government, rather than being in the power of local or devolved government. The first is the respect and fear of punishment. Higher deterrence can lead to lower crime rates. To put it another way, if potential criminals fear that the punishment they will receive for the crime is higher, they are potentially less likely to commit the crime. The second is national economic activity and patterns. Recession and depression, where the economy shrinks and poverty increases, will result in higher crime rates. Generally, in times of economic crisis, crime rates, especially burglary and theft, go up. The third is policing numbers and funding. If you have more police and they're better funded, with more powers and more equipment, able to get more police onto the streets, that acts as a deterrent. It also means more crimes will be investigated, perpetrators caught, and the crime will go to court. In addition, there are also local influences on crime rates. They tend to be either outside of governmental control or more down to local or devolved administrations. The first of these is poverty. Poverty varies wildly across the country, both in terms of what is defined as being poor or below the poverty line, but also in the rates of poverty across the country. Some areas are very wealthy and have very small numbers of people below the poverty line. Other areas are less wealthy and have high numbers of people below the poverty line. Generally, if you have higher levels of poverty in an area, you generally have a higher crime rate. Secondly, police numbers and effectiveness vary across regions. In different regions, there are different numbers of police per head of population, and they have different powers and different methods. This can lead to varying police effects, and this can lead to a varying crime rate. Thirdly, population density varies wildly. Dotted across the UK are several areas with very high population density, such as Newcastle upon Tyne, the West Yorkshire conurbation, and London. If you have more people in less space, that also potentially leads to a higher crime rate. Certainly, in general, crime rates are lower in rural areas than they are in the inner city. Fourthly, there are levels of drug and alcohol abuse, commonly put together as substance abuse. People with substance abuse issues often turn to a life of crime either out of desperation or to fund this life. As with many matters, the right and left wing of politics have different viewpoints on crime. The traditional right-wing view is that crime is a result of lack of discipline and a permissive society. This is combined with personal flaws. More police powers and funding is needed to maintain order in society. Criminality is built into the individual and cannot be reformed. Prisons are therefore for punishment, but also for deterrence, to deter people who are likely to commit crimes from doing so. Therefore, heavy prison sentences and harsh prison conditions lead to a reduced crime rate. There is also a traditional left-wing viewpoint on crime, which is that criminal behaviour is a result of circumstances rather than being built into the individual. Therefore, individuals are not usually naturally criminals, but may be pushed into it by their circumstances, such as substance abuse, or poverty, or desperation. Therefore, tackling the causes of crime is the best way to reduce overall crime rates. Prison sentences are expensive to the state and the taxpayer, and they should be used as a last resort. When they are used, they should be places for rehabilitation and recovery, not just for punishment. Sentencing should therefore be based around rehabilitating the individual as well as public safety. Traditionally, the British government, through many different administrations of different parties, has taken an attitude which either combines these two viewpoints or stands somewhere between them.
Ouch. That'd be too grim.